Well, good afternoon. We're going to look at the final exam study guide for the second semester of Intermediate Accounting, Accounting 222. First, let's revisit the way points are awarded in the class. So the midterm exam is worth 2,750 points. The final exam is worth 2,750 points. The homework is worth 1,400 points. Project is worth 2,000 points. The blogs, plural, are worth 1,100, and that adds up to 10,000 points. The nature of this test is that it's an open book test. It's also open notes, and you can use the computer. There are 20 multiple choice questions, 4 problems, and the test covers chapters 16 through 21. You may have 2 hours to take the test, and it's open book, open resources. You do need to use a proctor for the test, and the proctor could either be remote, and the 2 ways you can use remote proctors, you can use me, and I proctor 2 separate sessions over Blackboard Collaborate. Those are in your final exam learning unit already. There's an 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. session on Thursday night. There's an 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. session on Saturday, April 30th, and you can sign up for either of those. But it's not 24 hours, 7 days a week if you're getting free proctoring by me through Blackboard Collaborate. Now, if you choose remote proctor, I need to know that, and then I'll make the test available there. And remote proctor, you can take 24 hours, 7 days a week, but there's about a $25 fee for that. Also, you can take the exam in any testing center. And it's already there now. So what are we going to test on in chapter 16? Well, the chapter deals with accounting for income taxes. There'll be 3 multiple choice questions. One that asks, why do we account for income taxes? One that is giving you a list of things and wants you to tell which account type is a deferred tax asset. And then a journal entry to record net operating loss carryforwards, where you're actually going to be given some data and have to do the journal entry pick it among 4 choices. There's a problem where you're going to have to write an essay about income taxes. What are temporary book-to-tax differences? What are permanent differences? And rewatching the video that I did on this topic could help greatly. Chapter 17 is going to be pretty heavily tested from the standpoint of multiple choice questions, but there aren't problems from this chapter. So this deals with pension accounting, and we're going to have to differentiate between the defined benefit plan and the defined contribution plan. There's also going to be a journal entry necessary, where you're going to have to look at some facts and see which journal entry is the best. You're going to have to use the rate of return to calculate pension liability, and also you're going to have to pick the correct journal entry to record pension costs. For Chapter 18, we're going to be looking at shareholders' equity, and there are 3 multiple choice questions. The definition of treasury stock, classifications within stockholders' equity, and you're going to have to understand and interpret the journal entry for a small stock dividend. There's one problem in Chapter 18, and this problem, you're going to have to do some journal entries to record the issuance of common and preferred stock. Also, you have to have some idea of what par value is and why accountants select a particular value and which value they select. And I'll remind you, the value they select is a penny for par, and the reason they do it is because par can be taxed, and if the tax is only a penny, if the par is only a penny, the tax will be very low. If the par is hundreds of dollars a share, the tax could be very high. In Chapter 19, we have share-based compensation and earnings per share. One of the multiple choice questions will be calculating basic earnings per share. One of them will be calculating compensation expense from stock options, and I've referred you to an illustration, 19-3. And then from a list, you need to pick securities that dilute outstanding potential common shares. So remember that the two basic ways earnings per share can be calculated are basic or diluted. And you're not going to have to calculate diluted shares as a multiple choice question, or just diluted earnings per share, but you're going to have to look for the security that dilutes potential common shares. Then, however, in the problem, you are going to have to calculate basic and diluted earnings per share. In Chapter 20, we're dealing with accounting changes and error corrections. And here, there are 4 multiple choice questions, no problems. So one would be, look for an error and decide what type of change it is. Is it a change in estimate or principal, for example? One is record a change in accounting estimate. One of the problems will have one of the multiple choice questions will have you trying to determine what type of change is a change in depreciation method, and I've referred you to an illustration here. And then you're going to have to record a change in accounting principle. The last chapter on the test is Chapter 21, and this deals with the cash flow statement. There are 3 multiple choice questions. One is, depreciation is only shown on one of the statements, direct or indirect. Which one is it? Excuse me. The second question is, where is cash collected from customers shown? So that's a big cash flow type. Is it shown in cash flows from operations, in cash flows from investing activities, in cash flows from financing activities? Is it necessary on a direct statement or an indirect statement? And I'll give you a clue that it's not on both. You have to calculate cash flows from investing activities, and I've referred you to an illustration here that should help. And there's a problem where you have to prepare a direct operating section of a cash flow statement. So normally this is relatively easy in that I give you all the different captions you need and the dollar amounts, and you just need to get them in the right place. So this is not asking you to look at financial statements and do a spreadsheet to get direct cash flows. And I could have required that. The book talks about how you would do a spreadsheet, but that would make the problem too hard, and indeed, it's not there. So I wish you luck on the test, and certainly let me know if you have any questions.